It's end of play today, Mrs. Connor. I'm taking it.
End of play is 5.
Yeah, well, we're aware.
I've even wrote it on my hand. Says on post-its.
Yeah, we're way ahead of schedule, Mrs. Connor.
Oh, where have I heard that before? Where's this?
Bugs.
Is he?
Doctors.
Right, I want all you lot glued to their machines until this gets done, all right?
I'm working in the pub in a bit.
Why?
Well, because Glenda rotated me on. Are you okayed it?
Right, come on, team, you heard the boss. Less bitching and more stitching.
Oh, just get on with it, Sally.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
The talk of the street.
Talk of the street.
Welcome to episode 272 of The Talk of the Street, an unofficial Coronation Street catch-up podcast that casts its vote in the National Television Awards for more songs, less storylines. I'm Gavin.
And I never thought that I would hold in my hands a photo album that had photographs of both Napoleon Bonaparte and John Wilkes Booth in it, and yet, here we are.
You know, I have a spreadsheet where I try and keep notes of the things that you say at the start of these episodes, and then I also hold our moments of the week, our boring moments of the week. Who said the title in the opening? I like to keep track of all those things. I'm going to have to expand the cell that holds the thing that Helen said at the start of the episode to fit all that in.
And yet I'm sure I'm sure I've said even lengthier things in the beginning of the podcast.
Not this year.
Not this year, but in the past.
The column width was reasonable so far this year.
Yes.
Not anymore.
It was either that or apologize if people hear a rumbly in my tumbly.
You got a rumble in your tumbly? I'm wearing jambles.
You are wearing jambles.
I'm wearing jambles and you've got a rumble in your tumbly.
We're old.
6.5 years old, I was going to say.
We are either 6.5 years old or 66.5 years old.
I think the reason for both, though, is Chinese food. I was feeling a little bit full after eating half of my special fried rice. So I had to get out of my work clothes. And it's a shame because I was wearing my jumper that I wear when I'm recording the Talk of the Street podcast, my Calvin Klein, is it?
DKNY.
It's DKNY.
Yes.
And that's the reason for you going to tumbly.
I'm wearing Calvin Klein, but
not visibly.
No.
So, how are you apart from your horrendous diarrhea?
Is that TMI? On
this podcast?
I was being cute with rumbly in my tumbly. Yeah, all right. You know, as I've stated, I've found some really fun, interesting things to catalog at work.
Hold on.
Yeah, in addition to the photo album with pictures of Napoleon Bonaparte and John Wilkes Booth, as well as Robert E. Lee and Ulysses S. Grant and Tom Thumb.
Together at last.
Today I cataloged these ancient Roman glass bottles that they would hold up at funerals. They would collect their tears in these bottles and then bury them in the dirt above the grave of the person that they were burying. So
yes, I think that's quite well known, isn't it?
Yeah, but I've never held one in my hand before. I've seen them in museums.
Yeah.
So that was really cool.
Should this have been in a museum?
This belongs in a museum. That's the worst Harrison Ford impersonation I've ever done.
That was Harrison Ford?
Well, it was Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones eating marshmallows?
Yes.
Underwater.
While punching Nazis, yes.
Wow.
I was caught off guard. I have to prepare to do my Harrison Ford impression, I guess.
Well, I will give you notice next time. Next time I want one.
So yeah, it's really cool. It's this both the photo album and the tear bottles came from the same estate of a deceased physician in the area. So we also got lots of 19th century hypodermic needles and other medical accoutrements that are no longer used, like needles with glass vials as opposed to the more safe plastic ones we use today, sort of thing.
Excellent.
So it's been a fun week at work for me this week. How about you? How's your week been?
Let's not talk about it. I'm approaching 35 years working ostensibly for the same company.
Yeah. Which is why you get more vacation days than anybody else in your team or in the company.
Probably
in the
company.
United States. Yeah.
There's probably not one person who gets more vacation time than me in this company of 4,000 people.
That's correct, because you're special.
Do you know, I wonder if that's true. I should look that up. So I've been thinking about that quite a lot, that the guy that sits next to me, my best friend Brandon,
Yes.
he's...
Is this the first mention of your best friend
No,
Brandon
I'm
on
sure
the
I've
show?
mentioned it before.
Okay.
He makes a point of telling me that he doesn't listen to any of my podcasts.
Okay. None of my friends listen to this either.
He's 42. So he was 7 when I started working. Oh, fuck off. That's how my week's been. Shall we preamble, my dear?
Yes, please.
Give us some of that grandfathered PTO Corrie news.
Grandfathered is what you said, yes?
Yes.
Yeah. I was really confused. I was like, what does my grandfather getting paid time off have to do with anything? In heaven.
Yeah.
Is he getting paid time off from heaven? What do you do when you get paid time off from heaven? Do you go to hell?
Yeah, have a bit of fun.
Maybe that's who's been haunting me all week. Anyway, Corrie was hit with 55 Ofcom complaints by the only 55 people who watch Corrie that don't like seeing half-naked men on television.
55 people complained about the Carl James thing.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, people, come on.
It's kind of nice that it was only 55 people.
I suppose, but still, 55 people
55 people don't like to see
with nothing else to do.
two grown men enjoying some time off with one another.
But they weren't even doing that. One was in a bed and one was looking at him.
Yeah, but they were...
All the fun was implied.
Right. But they were both naked and one was sweaty.
Jesus. Stop sticking up for the 55 people, you.
I don't think Jesus has anything to do with it. Anyway, Mazel Tov to Dame Maureen Lipman, who will be getting married this weekend to fiancé David Turner. Remember last year we broke the news that she proposed to him on the train?
We broke the news.
We did. We broke the news. She called me especially to let me know.
I didn't realise that we had a scoop. We'll have to start calling you Scoop Broom from now on. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Scoop McGee really is this.
More power to her. Nearly 80 years old, getting married.
Why not?
Why not?
What else you going to do? Write to Ofcom about something? Sure. Congratulations indeed.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, sharp-eyed soap fans this week probably recognize the mediator who couldn't do her job properly as actor Sarah White, who played Bev McLaughlin in Brookside. For people who watch Brookside.
Brookside's coming back.
Is it?
I think.
Is it?
It's either coming back or it's back. I'm seeing an awful lot of posts about Brookside.
Is it just because of Sarah White being on Corrie?
I don't think so.
Pretending to be a mediator
I don't
and
think
doing
I've
a
seen any posts about that.
terrible job at it, which we'll talk about later.
Felt like she took sides.
It felt like she couldn't control the situation and that maybe there should have only been 2 people in the room. But we'll talk about that later, and that's Corrie News.
That's Corrie News, leading us like day follows night to our feedback section that I like to call Everyone's a Critic. Wendy writes, Theo's hair looks like Audrey's wig on backwards. Thanks, Wendy.
I'll never get that image out of my head.
8-word missive. But hey, every one of those words counts.
Yes, it does.
Well, Shema writes, hello.
Hi.
Just listened to the latest pod and thought I would use some recent knowledge I gained to let you know about applying for a passport when you need it in a hurry.
Aha.
My elder daughter needed a new passport for her last-minute trip to Wilmington for her younger daughter's wedding. The process was made slightly easier as we live in Newport where there's a passport office.
Now, is this a British person?
Yes, Welsh Emma, so...
Oh, Welsh Emma. I'm sorry, I missed that.
That was a clue.
Right, yes. It's just, there are Newports and Wilmingtons on both sides of the ocean, so I just wanted to clarify before you continued.
Okay. My daughter got an appointment to get a new passport on the same day. She went in at 8 o'clock, handed over documents, and the passport was ready by midday.
Whoa.
AKA noon.
Yes.
The main catch of this system is that it cost her...
Hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
Would you like to guess?
$500.
£250.
Ah.
So about $325.
Yeah.
I think a standard application is about 90. So you really do pay a premium. Yeah, I think mine was about 90 when I got mine, but that was 7 years ago maybe. So as long as there were appointments, it would have been perfectly feasible for Abby to get a new passport quite quickly. And Liverpool is not all that far from Manchester, but it does cost the bomb. Well, thank you for that insight, Well, Shema. We very much appreciate that.
Yes, money that she needs to pay Tracy off.
But Kev said that he would pay it. Gary Lee says on YouTube, spitting out my Yorkshire tea. Bisexual Carl? Holy moly. I hope Tracy finds out first. Guard your money, George. Jenny's right about that. We'll miss Addy also. And I miss jam tarts. My Liverpool dad and Yorkshire mum made jam tarts. Well, thank you very much, Gary.
Yes. And also, yes, holy moly. Bisexual anybody. The show still insists upon calling Carla a lesbian, but you know what? It's fine.
Does
whatever.
the show do that?
Yeah.
Because I see it all over the place on Twitter. I'm like, come on, people, have you heard of bisexuals?
Thank you. Thank you. But the show this week, somebody said something about lesbians getting married or something. So
Also, characters on the show. That's different from the show saying that. John writes, please, next time, Helen. Now, can you guess where this is going to go?
No, I really
Is this
don't.
going to be a good thing or a bad thing?
I could go either way. And I'm trying to think back to all of the horrid things I said last week. It's something about the penises. Were the penises last week? Or was it the week before?
When I opened up this, I saw the preview and it said, please, next time Helen is... And I'm like, oh.
Ooh.
Well, this really could go either way. But John's in a good mood.
Okay, good.
So he says, please, next time Helen is going to mention scat, can there please be a trigger warning?
Did I mention scat?
I was cycling into work listening to your pod and promptly nearly fell off my bike when Helen said the now infamous words, well, at least he didn't shit on him.
Okay, so shit, not scat. Two different things.
How?
Shit comes from humans. Scat comes from animals. Scat is what a bear does in the woods.
I think you need to have a word with the people who categorise extreme pornography, because I think scat covers everything in more ways than one.
I think John has fallen off his bike again. Is it John?
It's John.
It is John.
Poor John. Hilarious as usual, says John. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Cheeky writes, this week was a mess purely because of Theo being toxic and then seeking help from Billy. God damn you, Billy.
Uh-huh.
Make that make sense when you've already told your own partner to stay away from him. Lisa's proposal to Carla was sweet and very in keeping with who she is as a police officer. James seems like he's been let out in the cold by Carl, which I kind of enjoy because he shouldn't be hooking up with him in the first place. Ultimately, the only character that I really value this week has to be either Todd or Billy, because both of them are going through it trying to be supportive to Theo. They need to make his villainy definitive and soon, because otherwise there's no point to that toxic relationship other than the audience continually watching the abuse unfold.
Oh, I think his villainy is very much definitive.
I think we got some, not 2 second smile fades from him, but little looks
Right.
after the scene's about to finish where he's kind of scowling.
And let's not forget Tim's dad, who had very much a very public front-facing face, which masked his villainy, but was still very much a villain.
Yeah, and
You know, the way Theo... Well, we will talk about this later.
we will.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much to Cheeky, to John, to Gary Lee, to Welsh Emma, and to Wendy for writing in this week.
When were you watching extreme pornography?
I wasn't. I just helped categorise it.
Oh, okay.
It's a hobby. Feedback's always welcome. Send us your thoughts and I'll probably read them out. Get us at talkofthestreet@gmail.com or our DMs are open at Corrie Podcast. Oh, we love it when people write actual letters to us. Send us your proper mail to the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Please note that we reserve the right to edit feedback, but only in the interests of brevity. And now we'll podcast for coffee. We're buying our own coffees this week. Hey, we cannot be complaining
We cannot
about that.
be complaining
we
about that.
have been just inundated with coffees and new friends of the podcast over the past few weeks.
Do we have any new friends of the podcast this week?
If we did, I would have hit that button already.
Would you have?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that came after the coffee.
No. How little do you pay attention to this?
As little
You're
as,
sitting there. You're sitting right there.
as little as possible.
As soon as the Will Podcast for Coffee music's finished, I hit the new friend of the podcast
yes.
music. Then you go,
And then I salute the new friend of the podcast.
yes,
Which people don't see because we
Just
don't
as well.
we don't do a video feed of this podcast because Gav likes to podcast in his jammies.
and also because sometimes you don't really think about what kind of salute you're about to do.
That is not true.
It's all accidental.
My name is not Elon Musk.
Let's
Okay.
hope so. Well, there goes any friends of the podcast that we had. The Talk of the Street is and will always be free on your podcast provider and on the YouTubes, but if you think our show is worth anything more than the time it takes to listen to it, if you want to show your appreciation, you can buy us next week's coffee by going to ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street. And if one show isn't enough for you, you can also sign up to be a friend of the podcast through the same link, where for as little as $2 a month, you can get access to the Talk of the Street Spoiler Alert, our weekly spoiler show, and the Talk of the Street Classics, a monthly review of a classic Corrie episode. We just published our second classic episode.
I know.
Of episode 638, the one with Patrick Stewart in it, and it was
Yes.
an awful lot of fun and getting some
It
good
was.
feedback about that.
I love Dennis. I still haven't watched that episode with him just as Batman yet. I need to do that. I might do that later tonight.
You really do.
I love Dennis.
All that, plus a mention in the closing credits of each and every episode. And if Ko-Fi isn't your thing, we also have a Patreon site where you can show some love for the exact same benefits. Sign up to be a friend of the podcast there at patreon.com/the Talk of the Street. But remember, you can always support the podcast for free and get us in front of new listeners by liking, subscribing, rating, and reviewing wherever you get your podcasts.
Ooh la la.
Shall we dive in then?
Yes, please.
Our first storyline tonight is Theo No Sleeves. So we get this done and dusted,
Yes.
which I'm quite pleased about. On Monday, Asha is in Nina's roles and she's planning on going to the funeral of the young man who died in last week's flashback.
Yes. In the biking accident.
Nina doesn't think that this is a great idea. And this doesn't become anything else.
No. It's there's one sentence later on of where Nina asks Todd how Asha was at the funeral. And he's like, I barely noticed she was there. Mm-hmm. So this is all just a big old nothing burger, isn't it?
I thought it was nice that it tied some elements of this story back to last week. But yeah, because it didn't become anything, it was like, why even bother showing that?
Right, yeah. Unless it's going to become something next week,
Yeah. I mean, if we're trying to fill time,
I guess.
just get Debbie to sing a song.
Yeah. Or Rita.
Oh, let's go with Debbie.
Or Glenda.
Todd's at work early when Theo, who doesn't work at the Undertaker's, comes into the Undertaker's. He's concerned that Todd has spoken to Billy and fallen out with him. Because remember, last week, Theo laid down the law and told Todd
He's not allowed to talk to Billy anymore. Because
he
they're
is not
children.
allowed to talk to Billy anymore.
Because they're children. And Theo doesn't believe in co-parenting a summer.
He invites Todd to the cafe for a pie ahead of his mediation session later, but Todd is busy doing the funeral for the guy that Asha killed last week.
Don't say that.
What?
Asha didn't kill that man. She tried to save him.
At the mediation, Theo is shocked to discover that Danielle has brought company along.
Which is not allowed.
In the shape of Noah.
Not allowed.
And he protests initially and then pretends to be cool with the situation.
Right, because they bully him into it. They're like, what, you have a problem with this? And at that point, well, apparently Danielle called the mediator and said, would it be all right if this person came with me? And this is the point where the mediator should have said, actually, no, it just needs to be the two of you.
That woman is
two
drunk.
of you people who I need to who we need to mediate between. You cannot bring your current partner that may escalate things with your previous partner who you were trying to mediate with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would you take your new girlfriend along to marriage counselling? It's so bizarre.
It's ridiculous.
Meanwhile,
I'm just happy that Noah still looks maimed from last week.
he's been stamped in the face by a horse.
Yes.
It was tiny.
I
And then
wish.
pissed on him.
Yes.
Sorry, John. Meanwhile, after the funeral, Todd, he's just had a really hard time at this funeral because the guy was so young, and it really brings it home to you how fragile life is.
Yes.
Says a guy who's been an undertaker for years. He needs a drink, so he pops into the Rovers, where he inevitably runs into George. He tries to call Theo, but Theo is still in the meeting and shuts off his phone. Noah, predictably, is interrupting everything Theo is saying during the mediation session, which winds Theo up almost as much as it does when Danielle says my kids instead of our kids.
Right. Yeah. And the mediator tries. She says, let's let Theo talk now. And, you know, it's Theo's turn to talk. But then, you know, the second that they do get under Theo's skin, then she's like, oh, wait, no, hold on now. This is for everybody.
Noah, how do you feel about this?
Yeah. Noah should have no opinion on this. This is not Noah's mediation.
Noah is there because Danielle is concerned about Theo and his violent mood swings. Isn't that what the mediator's there for, though?
Right, yeah. He's not going to have a violent mood swing and attack you in front of a mediator when he's desperate to see his kids.
And, you know, if you are that worried about being in the same room as Theo, maybe you're not ready for this.
Yeah. We did mediation.
Did we?
No, not you and me.
Oh.
Me and with Eli when Nick was...
Me and Eli?
No, not you and Eli. When Nick was still quite young and I was trying to get full custody. And I said to the mediator, I don't think that he is safe for himself or others. He has already told me that he's been thinking about suicide. And the mediator said, well, maybe you shouldn't push him. Well, maybe you need to be nicer to him.
Do you want that story in?
I think it's fine. That was over 20 years ago.
Okay.
But
And
still.
and he's still with us.
Yes, and he's still with us. Yes. But still, it you know,
Was it this woman?
It may as well have been this woman because mediators are human too and will often say terrible, terrible things to you and not mediate things properly in life and on television.
The only experience I've had with this was it wasn't even marriage guidance, but it was a kind of mediator session with my ex-wife as we attempted to see if there was anything worth salvaging. Spoiler, there wasn't.
No.
But
Or else you wouldn't be here.
right. But she was very good and just let us talk mostly. While it didn't help in the
Right.
with the purpose of saving a marriage,
Right.
it did make me realise that I've never grieved anybody properly at that time.
Uh-huh.
Something that I still struggle with.
Yes, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't realise that until those sessions.
Yeah.
Anyway, cheery as that is,
Cheery as that is.
Theo wants 50-50, but Danielle thinks full-time with her is best because he can't stop himself from assaulting people. Theo points out that their shared homophobia led to Miles attacking a vicar, and it just turns into a slang match until Theo basically calls Danielle a stupid bitch.
Because she is.
In the pub, Billy has arrived, and after some awkwardness, they both apologise to each other. That's Todd and Billy.
Yes.
When Theo gets home, there's no Todd, so he calls him and is pissed off when he hears that Todd's in the pub. Sounds like he's enjoying himself, and sounds like he's with people who are also enjoying himself.
Oh, no.
Theo is not happy about this. Todd asks how the mediation went, but mishears the reply and thinks it was not bad instead of it was bad. He invites Theo along to the pub, says that Billy has apologised, but Theo is now in a pit of depressive rage and starts on the pouring booze, which inevitably brings on some audio flashbacks for Theo. He goes to the pub, lingers outside, then goes back to his pouring booze. Back at the pub, Billy has talked Todd into staying for another drink while Theo tries to call him but keeps getting his voicemail. Furious, he goes round to the pub again and goes in through the back door
But not like that.
and sees Todd having a ball with Billy, George, Christina and Nina.
But not like that.
Tina McIntyre's back, everybody. Theo slinks away. Later, Todd goes home with a couple of kebabs, chirpy after his day from hell, now that he's had some sauce. Theo, though, is disgusted with fatty Todd and his stupid diet. Todd points out that Theo invited them for a pie earlier.
Right.
Theo accuses him of waltzing into his own home after having a laugh at the pub.
Oh, okay.
Todd points out that he invited him along and offered to come home, and he just did what Theo told him to do. So Theo gets angry that Todd can't read his mind, and the mediation was bad, and then proceeds to stuff kebab into Todd's face, announces that he's packed his bags and he's leaving, and he never wants to see Todd again.
Good.
This was horrible.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out, asshole.
Yes.
Yeah, this was horrible. Terrible
Horrible
to
to
watch.
watch.
Ugh. This is what should get the Ofcom complaints.
Yeah, and I bet you it doesn't.
Yeah. Because stuffing a gay man's mouth with kebab is okay.
Mm-hmm. Having full sexual intercourse off screen with a gay man is not okay.
Right, yes.
For 55 people.
For 55 people. Not us.
I don't think I've ever complained about anything on TV. Ever.
Well, not officially.
Not to any
In
any
the car with
governing
me,
body.
maybe.
Oh, yeah, I do it every week on the podcast.
I don't think we really have a governing body that you can complain to here necessarily. I mean, you can write an angry email to the network, I guess.
Or to the ATF. Just get them to do something about it. That's alcohol, tobacco, and firearms.
Yes.
What a job. Booze, smokes, and guns.
It's the American way.
America. What you're talking about, or what you were talking about during the feedback section, we saw a little example of it here when Theo's angrily slamming doors and stuff, and he storms out and he almost runs into Rita and Jenny. But he is the model of politeness.
Just switches
and
very quickly.
Full of the charm for the two ladies.
The old
and
dears.
they're all, absolutely soaking it up.
Rita invites him over.
But meanwhile, inside, he's absolutely fuming.
Right, yes.
Or is he fuming?
He seems to be fuming. He also seems to be drunk, and yet, it seems to be able to turn that off in front of Jenny and Rita as well, which was disconcerting.
It was a bit. On Wednesday, Todd is on edge when he gets up until he sees that Theo isn't there. Theo has slept in his van and is woken by Gary, who lets him shower at the Rose Gold flat, which isn't weird at all. Gary wants some help loading his van in return, and Theo agrees. Later, Todd is down in the dumps and ignoring texts from Theo, so Sarah offers to cheer him up, but not like that, over a pub lunch. There, Todd complains about Theo's moods and the baggage, but doesn't tell her
anything
everything.
about the abuse.
He's really ashamed of the kebab thing, I think, isn't he?
Yeah, but still, the way he kind of hedges it with Sarah here and with Billy later just makes things worse.
Even with what he says to Sarah, it's enough for Sarah to say, well, I don't know why you're with him if that's the case.
Right. To which Todd says, well, he's fit. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Todd, you're not an 18-year-old anymore. Being fit is not enough for a man of your age.
Meanwhile, Gary is ribbing Theo about his lack of help with the band, so Theo storms off in a huff, and Gary needs to get Maria to help instead.
And then walks down the street like he's Popeye.
He's carrying 2 imaginary rolls of carpet. Back at the pub, that's a good impression.
It was hilarious.
Back at the pub, Todd has moved on to the free champagne because he was just drinking water earlier on. There's free champagne from another storyline. While Billy sees Theo on the street looking glum, and Theo reacts badly when Billy offers to help. In fact, I think Theo threatened him with fisticuffs.
He did. He got in his face.
Billy refuses to do one as requested because it's not in the job description. What is in your job description, Billy? Anything?
Anything,
Anything at all.
church related? Anything having to do with, I don't know, preaching? Or is it just counseling people on the street and occasionally soup kitchens?
He's not even counselling people. He's just a busybody.
Well, he's offering counsel to Theo, but not in a very professional manner. And also, maybe counseling your ex-boyfriend's boyfriend is slightly unethical.
Mm-hmm. Billy's also the one who keeps Todd back at the pub for another one.
Right, yes. When Todd says, I need to get home and see Theo and see how the mediation went. Billy's like, no, it's fine. Stay with me. I don't want to be alone with all of these heterosexuals. And Nina?
Get another beer in. Is that in your job description, Billy?
Is it?
Getting another beer in?
Yes.
So anyway, Theo opens up to Billy about his problems with Todd, talking about what's inside his head and his jealousy. And Billy points out that he's angry with Todd for doing what Theo told him to do, and says none of us are mind readers. Theo doesn't go into any of the nastier things that he did, and he convinces Billy to ask Todd to talk to him at least, open up the lines of communication again. So Billy goes to Todd and gives him Theo's sob story. Todd doesn't know why Theo would speak to Billy when Billy is the source of lots of the problems.
Right, yes.
And he doesn't know if he can put up with Theo's moods.
No.
Billy thinks Todd isn't himself and hasn't been for a while.
Yeah,
and leaves it at that.
Yeah, so maybe don't try to convince him to go back to his boyfriend if that's the case, Billy.
Right. Theo comes in later and apologises for everything and asks to talk back home. Todd reluctantly agrees, and back home he asks why Theo spoke to Billy about this, as Billy was part of the problem. Theo says he's trying to get over that and wants to forget what happened. Todd can't, and explains how shaken up he was. And Theo kind of scoffs at this and says that he was so shaken up that he spent all day in the pub with his ex, Sarah. And this...
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
And this just about wraps it up for Todd. He accuses Theo of refusing to take responsibility for anything, and he was worried that he was going to kill him. He can't do this anymore, so he tells Theo to leave.
Yeah.
And for a moment, Theo looks like he's going to attack Todd.
Yes.
But then quietly leaves.
Yes.
Oh, I was like, thank God.
Thank
well
you.
done, Todd.
Thank you.
You finally realised
You're finally acting like yourself.
that this isn't worth it. He's not worth it. You're better than this. You deserve better than this.
Yeah. It's funny that it's the Sarah thing that seems like it's the final straw.
Right.
It's like, you really think I'm going to get back with Sarah? Mm-hmm. You're jealous of Sarah? Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Sarah?
Yeah. Leather. On Friday, Theo
I
just
don't think
walks...
Todd is into that kind of leather.
On Friday, Theo just walks into Todd's house with a piece of broken hotel pastry. He wants to talk, but Todd isn't in the mood, and no badly damaged custard slice is going to change that.
Right, it's smushed.
At dinner rolls, Theo tells Billy that he's managed to get some private therapy scheduled so he can become the man that Todd deserves. That's not why you should be going into therapy.
No.
You should be going into therapy for you, to make improvements to you. Not to make anybody else happy or make anybody else approve. This is just... I mean, I think at this point, he's genuine. But
is he?
But is he? Because soon as he asks Billy to keep stum about it, knowing full well that he won't, and
Right.
and you can tell that he knows, because as soon as Billy turns away, that face changes.
Yes.
So he gives a good impression of wanting to do
The
something
right
that
thing.
appears to be the right thing, but I don't know if he ever had. Did he have any intention?
Yeah, I don't think that there's any real intention there. I mean, because if there was real intention there, he would have gone, right? And he wouldn't want Billy to keep stum about it.
But he knows that Billy won't keep stum about it, and Billy doesn't, because he goes straight round to the Undertaker's, despite not working at the Undertaker's, and spills the beans on Theo's self-improvement.
I'm assuming occasionally he works at the Undertaker's. Because sometimes they do have, like, services at the Undertaker's, yes? As opposed to the church?
I don't think so.
Huh.
Theo, though, has already bottled out of the therapy and is fucked off into town to get bloated with Gary instead.
But they're both old men.
They get back early because they're old men. But Theo's kind of drunk when Todd comes in with Billy, who promptly leaves. He asks Theo how therapy was. "God damn you, Billy," says Theo, shaking his fist at the sky. Todd tells him how impressed he is. Theo says he's doing it for them and that he's given away his life for Todd. And that does it. And Theo is back with his feet under the table again.
Fuck you.
And that's as far as we get with that this week. And he hasn't given away his life for Todd.
No.
He was on the gay apps before he started
Right, yeah.
dating Todd.
Right, yeah. He's finally... He was giving his life away to Danielle for years when he knew he was a gay man the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
This is him. This should be him actually getting to live his life finally. There's a part of me that can appreciate this storyline for what it is.
I do appreciate
But,
big bits of it.
you know, but at the same time, because there is still so little representation of gay characters and of gay characters who are afraid to come out and gay characters who will come out at a later age, that there's a part of me that's really uncomfortable with Theo as a villain, you know? I mean, it's good for gay people to be presented as villains because not all gay people are nice people. It's true.
Sean.
I know it's shocking.
Sean.
I don't think Sean's a bad person. But he is sassy.
I wonder how Carol feels about that. Poor homeless Carol.
It's so that there are parts of the storyline that it's just like because it was really good when it was about, you know, how terrible conversion therapy is.
Well, and herein is my main issue with it. Because if Theo is being made out to be a villain, how much of that are they placing on the conversion therapy?
It doesn't feel like very much.
But he was a sympathetic character with the conversion therapy thing.
Uh-huh.
And that was an interesting story in and of itself.
And then it just kind of tanked a little and went away.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because I think the reason why he's, or part of the reason why he's so... He's
controlling.
And see, I don't want to
and
give him...
unable to communicate.
I don't want to give him too much credit here, but I was about to say that he's confused with his sexuality, and that isn't helping. And a lot of that probably is down to the conversion therapy and having Noah in a relationship with his ex-wife and hanging about the street and being in his face and all the stuff that's happening with Miles. But I think at the heart of it, Theo is just not a nice man.
And that's the thing, too, because as you're watching the way that he's acting with Todd, it runs through your mind. Was he like this with Danielle?
Mm-hmm.
And was he abusive with Danielle? And was he controlling and jealous with Danielle? And that's problematic because then you start to sympathize with another terrible person who should not be presented as sympathetic at all.
Well, both of them can be terrible, I guess. But I don't know that we got any confirmation about the... Remember, there was a thing about Theo being violent again. And I think it was Theo himself who said it was something that happened in a restaurant and he threw a glass or something like that.
Right, yeah.
But was that what it was? Because we only have his word for it.
Right, yeah. Just like the way Todd is not talking about any of these things. I'm sure Danielle, especially the way that she was brought up, probably wasn't confiding in anyone if these things were happening to her. And they probably were. And it was probably, I think, in many ways, probably worse because he can't control his life because he's been squeezed into this heterosexual box that he doesn't belong in. Then he wants to control everyone else's lives, you know, and abusers tend to have abused other people before they're abusing you. I mean, we got that with Tim's dad when Tim was kind of reminiscing about his mom and when his mom came back and had been
Tim's mum.
God,
I miss Tim's mum.
I miss Tim's mom so much. Oh, there was a whole theme song and everything.
It was a good theme song as well.
It was. Tim's mom and Swain. We sure love our blondes. But anyway, yeah, it feels like what could have been a very interesting story has become less interesting the more complicated it gets.
Yeah.
Which has been a complaint before with other storylines.
Sure. I wonder if Theo and Danielle were maybe both guilty of being violent towards each other. It crossed my mind, but then I remember Danielle at the start of it, and she was a far airier character when she was introduced.
Yeah.
I really liked her. It took me, honestly, a while to start to dislike her.
She shouted slag at Sarah on the street.
Which was so funny.
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny when she was, you know, attacking other women and not necessarily being homophobic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think that this has been a story that's been fairly well done. I think well acted. But it's just so depressing.
And
it's
overly
also,
complicated.
And it's overly complicated, and it's also very reminiscent of a very big story from not so long ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's move on to George on the apps. This was better. On Monday, The Undertaker's Todd wonders if he should be buying a hat for George and Christina. That's a reference to Blind Date with Cilla Black, a dating show on TV, and when one of the couples ended up getting married, Cilla went off to get a hat, and it became a thing that if Cilla was going to get a hat, it was shorthand for there's going to be a wedding.
Ooh.
George keeps talking about her apparently and has another meeting with her later. What could that possibly be about? How many meetings do you need to have to organise a funeral? In Ina's roles, Jenny's looking lustily at George, who gets a text from Eileen that he finds upsetting.
And we never find out what that text is.
Yes, we do.
Do we?
Mm-hmm. Jenny apologises for the coffin incident from last week, but Glenda notices Jenny's behaviour and quizzes her privately on the possibility of a torch that she might be carrying for her brother. She giggles and denies it. George meets Christina as planned and the two of them go for a wee walk together. He tells her about the text that he received from Eileen and how that made him feel and whether he should even bother to reply. Christina says that he's a decent fella and will do the right thing, and the two of them go to the Rovers. Meanwhile, in the bistro, Rita has got the idea that Jenny has the hots for George as well and encourages her to go for it. So she does at the Rovers later, and she's about to join his group until Christina shows up after doing a shite, and she slinks back to Rita. Later, after a harmonised rendition of Gold by Spandau Ballet, it was very good, George and Christina head to Chinatown, and George deletes the message from Eileen in which she sent her love. It was a very brief message.
Yeah.
Apologising for not being in touch sooner. She sends her love and she signs it Eyelash. But notably, she's in his phone as Eileen. So.
And not Eyelash.
And not Eyelash. So it was a very non-committal text. It was just a check to see how you're doing thing.
How's it going, pal?
On Wednesday, Christina has stayed the night at Todd's, but no hole was had, and George was a perfect gentleman. In the pub, Glenda tells George that Jenny fancies a bit of Undertaker action, but George doesn't believe it and reckons this is a ruse because Glenda simply doesn't like Christina. He reckons that she's jelly, and this, if anything, makes him more into the prospect of a relationship.
Ooh la la.
So on Friday, in the Rovers, George tells Christina that he has feelings for her, but he needs to take a step back, considering that she's just planted Dom. Christina feels the same way, but the topic changes when her card is declined, and George steps up to pay for her, while Christina breaks down in a hugely unconvincing manner.
Yes, she does.
She tearfully tells George that Dom has left everything to a donkey sanctuary.
Hasn't that happened before? Who else left money to a donkey sanctuary in the show?
Do people actually leave money to donkey sanctuaries? Why donkeys?
Because they love a piece of ass.
Hold on. Hold on. This will just take a minute. There we go.
There we go.
That was the joke of the week.
Why would Dom leave her anything? They weren't married. They were dating.
I don't even...
I guess.
Were they dating? They were
scamming together, but it also
were
kind of
con
seemed like
partners.
they were. It also kind of seemed like they were dating, but it also, if I remember correctly,
She was jealous of Jenny. Remember?
right? Yeah, it also if I remember correctly, it seemed like they were kind of maybe dating, but that Christina was more into it than Dom was. So I'm very, very confused by all of this. Was that really? I know there was a dead man in the coffin. Was it really Dom?
Jenny confirmed it was Dom.
Ah. The whole thing feels really weird, doesn't it?
I don't understand why she would come back to this street to get George to do the funeral.
Unless they're still living kind of in the area?
But she
Well, I
wasn't,
mean,
she
Dom's not
wasn't
living in the area.
They weren't living in the area because when they left, they went far away when Daisy was still on the show.
Right.
So this whole thing is, I'm not complaining about her being back in it
No,
because she is fabulous.
she's great. I like her lipstick.
But Anna liked her harmonising on Gold. I thought it was wonderful. But there's nothing about this that is trustworthy.
No.
And the fact that George is not seeing this, and Glenda, I think, has been one round, when the events of the week are just make her less trustworthy.
No, I don't think Glenda has been one round.
She said she felt bad for disbelieving her.
Yeah, but also she feels bad for disbelieving her, but also this just proves that she's desperate to get her meat hooks into whatever George is dishing out. Because let's not forget, George owns a house
He does.
that he refuses to live in. Like a full-blown house. Not even a flat. Not even a 2 up, 2 down.
It's a big bastard house.
It's a big-ass house. With a shed and everything.
Wow.
Because remember, somebody
A
was...
shed.
Who was hiding in the shed?
Such dreams.
Who was hiding in the shed? Somebody
Sean.
was hiding. It was Sean. Sean was hiding in the shed. And not in the closet.
Come out, Sean. Anyway, Christina's penniless. George offers to lend her money, but she won't hear a word of it and leaves. George follows her to Dev's and offers again to give her a loan, but she doesn't want to live like that anymore and again turns him down. She needs to renew herself, she says, but she promises to stay in touch. And that's as far as we get with that. But this is a classic con merchant's action of never accept the loan on the first offer or the second offer.
Right, yes.
Wait till the third offer.
Yeah. Yeah. My lady doth protest too much.
A little.
Yeah.
But is this too obvious that she's a con woman and she's conning George? Because it's very obvious. The way that she was crying
Was so
in the
fake.
pub was
So fake.
just dreadful.
Uh-huh.
Is my mascara running? Funnily enough, no.
No.
No, it isn't.
He's not. And the way she's penniless, but then she wanders into Dev's and is looking at the discounted bin. Is this £2 or £2.60? Oh, it's £2.60. Well, that's just too dear. I could afford £2, but not £2.60.
But I thought she'd only asked that once she'd clocked George coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so obvious. It can't be. She's got to be on the up and up when this is all a ruse. Or this is all just distraction and deflection. Because when a woman who has history of conning people comes back into the show saying that she's penniless and looking like she's starting to con people again, maybe you accept that. Maybe you just say, you know what? Everything's pointing to this. This has got to be true. I don't know. It's good fun as it's going anyway.
It is.
Right, move on to Carl Theft Auto. Or Grand Theft Carl.
No, I think Carl Theft Auto is funnier.
On Monday, James runs into Carl Chuckle at Nina Rolls, and I've never noticed how squeaky James's voice is. So Carl looks like a Chuckle brother, and James sounds like one. Later, Carl is pissed when he discovers that Brody has brought Dylan along to go scoping for cars to nick and refuses to pay for the both of them, which I think is fine. If you're subcontracting this, that's your business.
Right.
In the bistro, Tracy is still wearing that fucking coat as she badgers Carl for her money. A passing Debbie now disapproves of this and sticks her nose in when she hears Tracy badmouthing Kev. You don't know the half of it, says Tracy. Later, Dylan and Brody hand Carl a list of cars that they've scoped in quiet parts of town that have no CCTV and no dash cams. He's about to text Abby when James jumps on them and talks about ice lollies and the nip-off for a quick bout of extreme intercourse.
Woohoo!
On Wednesday, at Nina's Rolls, Roy's wearing glasses.
Yes, Roy wears glasses now.
I'm going to say bespectacled.
Looks fantastic.
A nice pair of glasses.
He's had a pair of readers before, but not nearly as pronounced as these gorgeous glasses are on him.
He's complaining about a sore back that we'll hear more of in another storyline.
Yeah, we will.
While Carl and James arrange yet another session of that intercourse.
Yes.
At home, though, Dee Dee has a date with that creepy Ollie and needs James to babysit while she's out, so that pisses all over James's plans. James takes Layla round to the garage to let Carl down. Carl doesn't fancy a walk with the kid. James says you weren't invited and fucks off.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Well done, James.
I really enjoyed that.
Well done.
Oh, this isn't my bag. No, you weren't
invited.
part of this.
Yeah.
That was good stuff. On Friday, Carl finds Brody and Dylan in Nina's Rolls, the young guns prepared for some car thievery. But when they attempt to break into a car, and actually do succeed in breaking into it, James appears out of nowhere, wondering what the fuck they're doing.
Yes, and with one of them wearing a hat covering his face.
Yes, Dylan not.
And the other not wearing a hat covering his face. In broad daylight.
Broad
in
daylight.
The sunshine on a busy street.
Yeah. James wonders what the fuck they're doing and threatens to go at the cops. Carl shows up, promises to fix the car, and tells James that he'll deal with the kids. Confused, James agrees and leaves them to it. And later, Carl warns a pair of them for being thick as fuck and forces an ambivalent Dylan to be all in like the rest of them or all out. And Dylan says, I'm in. And that's as far as we get with that.
Yeah. I like that Carl and James are still, getting it on the side.
Yeah.
I approve of that.
Yeah, for something that was, no strings.
Right.
Just a bit of fun.
And it still seems like
all the time.
It's no emotional strings. Just a bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Still seems to be the way that both of them are going.
Yeah. James has some moments with, is it Ed? When he's
Michael.
talking. Or was it Ronnie?
Oh, no, it was Ronnie, yes.
When he's talking about how he's got.
Ed has disappeared.
When
When was the last time we saw Ed?
Oh, it's fairly recently. But anyway, James is talking to Ronnie about having not exactly a bit on the side, and Ronnie thinks, is it somebody who's not come out yet? And James is playing it very close to his chest.
It's a situationship. Mm-hmm. Which is the second time I've heard that phrase this week. About gay people. Funnily enough.
I think Betsy says it, doesn't she?
Oh, yes. That would be the third time I've heard it this week. Only in Betsy's case, not gay people.
No. I don't know.
That we know of.
I'm not.
It's the most interesting thing about both of them, let's be honest.
Oh, about Carl and James?
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
I am far more invested in the Carl and James thing than I am in Carl, the master car theft guy, or Carl and Abby cheating on Kev. I don't care about any of those.
I'm more interested now in Carl cheating on Abby, who's cheating on Kev.
That is a fun aspect of it, yes.
Because in those situations, the person who's in the middle, the person who's cheating and also being cheated on,
yes,
typically ends up with nobody.
Yeah.
And that would be fitting.
We'll see how this goes. I am enjoying it, though. It's fun.
I hate the car thievery bit.
Yeah, it's stupid.
And I'm just sick of Brody, and I'm sick of Dylan as well. Again, this was much more interesting when Dylan was...
Wasn't he supposed to get out of the show soon?
You keep on asking this, and I don't think so.
Supposed to leave like a while ago, and we were like, oh, he's going to leave through the stabby teen thing the way Max left through prison, sort of thing.
I don't think anyone's ever sentenced to life in the Stabby Teenage Centre, though, unfortunately.
No.
But when Dylan had the upper hand on Brody and was sticking up to him, that was interesting.
Yes.
Or slightly more interesting than it is.
And then
but that
just,
seems to have gone away.
Yeah, now they're just randomly friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It's like, why? And how did this come about? And why don't we get to see how it came about?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No.
But the Carl-James dynamic does add something to it. I think this might be our penultimate storyline. It is Diva Debbie. On Wednesday, in Nina's Rolls, Debbie is complaining. This, by the way, was just all fucking gold. I loved all of this.
Yeah.
In Nina's Rolls, Debbie is complaining about Ronnie's insistence on her going to the stupid dementia choir thing. Glenda, though, thinks it's a marvellous idea and champions the healing properties of music, pointing out that they're meeting in the community centre, so she should just go round to that.
Right, yeah. And it's funny because, like, Glenda just happens to see the flyer on that little ledge in Nina's Rolls that has all the flyers on it, and says to Debbie, "Oh, you should do this." And that's when Debbie's like, "Oh, don't fucking get me started.
No.
Ronnie's been nagging me about this for ages."
No, get round to the community centre. Once the homophobic group leaves, it's the dementia choir.
Yes.
Don't go early.
No, and don't go late.
Because
who knows what comes after dementia?
Because with dementia,
choir.
you could be coming out with your whole personality could have changed. So later, Debbie is lurking around the community centre, and she's about to go in, but she bottles out when she hears them singing, "I'd like to teach the world to sing."
Yes, in perfect harmony.
But a passing Christina starts chatting with Debbie and thinks that the dementia choir sounds like an amazing idea and brilliant fun, and Debbie should be milking it for being the youngest and most glamorous member. This floats Debbie's boat. Fuck it, she says. So Debbie goes and joins in and has a ball, although we don't get to see any of it, which did make me wonder if any of it had happened.
Yeah.
Because she said that she went and that was great. Did she? Because we didn't see it.
Yeah, but she goes back.
But she did.
Yeah.
Friday then, Ronnie is on Layla duty, so Debbie decides to head back to the dementia choir, and she has lots of fabulous ideas for the group. We've got time to kill, so Debbie spends a good minute singing Sally, which brings Dev to tears.
That was nice. I liked that. That was great.
At the community centre, yeah, it was great.
And Debbie got free milk out of it.
Is there something creepy about giving somebody free milk?
Well, you know the old phrase.
Got milk?
No. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? Well, now we've turned it around, and it's Debbie getting the milk for free.
We'll sing for milk.
From the bowl.
Oh, that reminds me of a very funny scene from Kingpin. But we must move on.
Yes.
At the community centre, Debbie has a magic microphone, which is actually Annabelle's inhaler.
Yes.
What, God, could that have been any funnier? The fact that it was an inhaler.
Right.
And the fact it was Annabelle's inhaler.
Yes.
We don't know who Annabelle is.
Right.
But that's a brilliant name for somebody who owns an inhaler.
Yes.
That was so funny. But anyway, it's like the conch, which means that when whoever's holding this can't be interrupted, Debbie spends a good couple of minutes annoying everybody with her plans for the group, getting
Right.
them in shape, improving their social media presence, reinventing their song choices.
Calling one woman the wrong name and then shushing her when she tries to correct her because she's not holding the magic microphone.
Maybe get matching costumes. You fancy matching costumes, don't you, Dennis? Yep.
But not that Dennis,
Not that
sadly.
Dennis. And despite singing a song from the 1930s moments earlier, she reckons Chattanooga Choo Choo is a piece of shit. So,
Pardon me, Debbie.
Pardon me, boys, Debbie, yes. So Maureen, the leader of the group,
Yes.
kicks her the fuck out.
Yes. She's like, that's not a magic microphone. That's Annabelle's inhaler. You're the one who tried to institute this whole magic microphone thing. So no, I don't have to wait for the magic microphone. And it's hilarious that they kick her out of the group, but then there's a part of me that's like, is it cruel to kick her out of the group? Because she does have dementia. So all of this could just be the dementia talking. It's not, but it could be. You don't know her, Maureen.
She was giving them her business acumen list as well, how she was Northwest Business Lady of the Year and stuff. It was so funny.
Was
And it was so
hilarious.
obvious that she was going to get punted out. But is this group of lovely old people who just want to go and sing a few songs together, are they going to
From
have
their youth.
are they going to have the guts to throw her out? And they did.
They did.
And that was great.
Yeah, because the woman who leads it doesn't have dementia.
Well, I assume not.
Maureen doesn't have dementia, so she's not going to be lovely and kind. She's going to be like, no, get the fuck out.
When Ronnie finds out, he thinks it's hilarious.
Because it is.
Debbie doesn't care. She says that she's a Maserati Gran Turismo in a community centre full of Reliant Robins. In the Rovers, Glenda catches wind of this, and she and Debbie imagine starting their own group. I wonder if anything will come of that.
They could get Rita in.
They could also get Little Big Shots to do backing vocals.
And George. And Christina.
What is going on in my throat?
Actually, I think that was my throat.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're old.
I'll try and cut that out because it honestly sounds disgusting on decent headphones. I wasn't sure if Glenda was suggesting that they start one or suggesting that it would be good fun if they did, which is less committal. Because Debbie was running with it and coming up with ideas, and
Yeah.
they wouldn't be singing fucking Chattanooga Choo Choo for sure.
Right. And then later on, Debbie is going to offer her services for a wedding singer for a certain couple. So it sounds like Debbie at least is serious.
I hope so. This was fantastic.
It was fun.
The more we get the good ladies singing, I don't think it's... They've got to be careful not to overdo it.
No.
But I think from the karaoke sessions that we've had recently, and Debbie singing over the last couple of episodes at Dev's wedding and now here, it's a really good part of the show, and it just lightens everything. And I don't care that it comes across like they're just filling in time. She's a good singer. She's a great character. Having these moments of giving her some pomp and some, elevation, I think is great. And it's just really good to watch, and it's good fun, and it lightens the mood. This has been a good storyline this in a week that has, I think, been more light than normal. Mm-hmm. But this just adds to it. It's wonderful.
Yes.
More of it.
Yes.
It's good that Ronnie
Has a sense of humor.
has a sense of humour about it. Basically forced her to go.
Right.
But then when
She gets kicked out, just finds it
couldn't be
hilarious.
funnier. Mhm.
Right. Yes. Because he loves Debbie, but he also knows who she is.
Yeah, she's a character.
Yeah.
Of course she's going to get chucked out of things every now and again. It's not everybody that can take it. Alright, our final storyline tonight is Proposal Central. On Monday, at number 6, David is in a mood about all the packages that he has to take in for those next door. Not at number 6, not at number 6. Oh no, it is at number 6, because he's in their house.
Yes.
Because he's sniffing their candles. Going, oh, that smells quite nice.
Yes. While complaining to Carla about their recycling and ordering all these clothes and all this other bullshit, he's sniffing their candles.
And, so to speak. And where Swain parks.
Yes.
Not happy about that.
No.
David leaves and...
Swain.
Swain comes down the stairs, which gets Carla flustered about the packages and the secret plans that she's harbouring.
And the secret box she's hiding behind her secret back.
Her secret back.
Her secret back.
Yep. Later, Carla asks Betsy for her mother's hand in marriage, and after a little bit of a wind-up, Betsy reveals how thrilled she is about the proposed proposal, and the two of them hug, and it's lovely. Betsy somehow converts the backyard into a proposal grotto for Carla, and we learn that Swain is into what Betsy calls heavy metal, but what I call Def Leppard.
Yes, but also Guns N' Roses. Because later on...
Again, not what I would call heavy metal.
Well, no, but still, it's not just Def Leppard, it's also Guns N' Roses. Which, I guess that's what Swain would be into? I guess I never really thought about Swain's musical taste.
She's a rocker. She likes to rock.
I guess so.
David's pissed off about the noise and the threat of a fire pit while he still has his washing out.
Right, yes. And has been taking a nap because he's an old man.
When Swain comes home, David's...
He's like a little old man.
David's quips
He's so
are
crotchety.
great. I'm so glad that he hates...
Lesbians.
Just hates that they've moved in and have upset his idyll. He never had this much bother with Yasmin.
Right, yes. And Yasmin's chickens. And also, nobody's been living in that house for quite some time, so it's been really, really quiet. And he's probably gotten used to it.
When Swain comes home, Carla leads her into the backyard with her eyes covered, and Swain is taken by how lovely all is. What's this in aid of, she says. Carla stumbles through her speech as Sweet Child of Mine starts, and that was wrong. It needed to be something else, but Carla can't change it. And then David comes out to complain again, thinking that Yasmin's chickens were noisy, and then starts throwing the recycling back at them from his bin.
Yes, and Swain says, those magazines aren't mine. And Carla says, yeah, they're mine.
Shona drags him indoors, but as Swain is tidying, she finds a piece of paper with Tia Wardley's name on it. And what if Betsy had seen that? Well, what if? Does Betsy know who Tia Wardley is?
No, but I guess Betsy would ask questions about who is this Tia Wardley person, I guess, is what her complaint is, but...
In which case, Carla says it's a client.
Right.
There you go. Job done.
Job done. And also, it was in the recycling bin. Betsy was never going to see it.
Carla insists it's old and she hasn't been snooping again, but the mood has soured, and Swain storms off in a huff. Later, Betsy comes home and is disappointed to learn that Carla didn't propose thanks to David and the recycling, so she goes off to talk to her fucking mother. Swain doesn't really want to talk about it though, but Betsy forces the issue, and Swain reveals that she's worried that she and Carla are doing things behind each other's back. Betsy explains that Carla loves her and tells her for a detective she's pretty fucking stupid, and then it looks like she's about to spill even more.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, Swain is still getting on Carla's tits about the Tia Wardley shite. Ryan is surprised at her attitude until Swain secretly reveals to him that she has some plans up her sleeve of her own. So, Carla's like a bear with sore head and takes it out on the knicker people. Less bitching, more stitching, says Sally, because she's a creep. But later, there's a police siren outside the factory.
Ooh.
And Carla's name is called over a bullhorn.
Yeah.
Carla, exit the building.
A gross misuse of police property.
Yes, public funds went into that.
Yeah.
The knicker people scatter.
Outside to watch their boss get arrested, they hope.
As Carla goes out to find Swain in the clothes that she wore to Tinker's funeral. And she advises that Carla has the right to remain married to her forever. Everyone thinks it's lovely. Betsy's actually squeeing. Everyone except Carla, who maybe feels like Swain has pissed on her chips a bit. But she quickly gets over it and accepts the proposal. And they fuck off to show Roy, who has glasses still and a bad back. Swain reveals that she had Costello's permission to use the car and the bullhorn and the siren, so everyone can just fucking chill about that, okay?
That's just because Costello doesn't want you investigating Tia Wardley.
And Costello seems happy that she's moved on from Becky and that. That was how Swain described it. Becky and that.
Becky and that, yes. She also stops mid-proposal to let her hair down. And then, like, the cheesiest saccharine music starts playing.
I didn't like the incidental
I hated
music.
that. I hated it so much. I was like, this moment does not need this.
I really enjoyed the proposal as a whole.
I thought it was a little cringe.
Well, sure.
But, you know.
I enjoyed it. I did not enjoy the incidental music.
No, incidental music can go fuck itself.
Kit is there and listens on with interest to the whole bit about Costello and Becky and stuff. While Carla is talking to Roy, Kit tells Swain that they've brought in Aunt from Aunt and Dec's uncle. Swain mentions Tia Wardley, but insists that she doesn't want to think about any of that stuff today.
Right, and she also says that apparently she and Carla tried to look into Tia Wardley but couldn't find anything, and I was like, when did that happen?
They looked her up. They vogled her. And they found out that she was a tennis player or something. Remember that?
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah. Yeah,
When did that happen?
They did do some preliminary digging, but because nothing came up on the first page of Vogel, they just gave up.
Yeah, because Swain's a great detective.
Yeah. They head to the pub and dish out some free champagne and are seen by creepy Ollie, who seems to have lots of questions for Dee Dee about Swain.
Yes.
Ollie's a chef. Meanwhile, at the station, Kit is on the phone about Aunt from Aunt and Dec and curious to know why he's in segregation and asks who the last person to visit him was. That would be Carla. He's looking up some stuff later when Costello catches him and sends him home as his shift has ended. A bespectacled Roy joins in the fun at the pub but continues to complain about a back problem. Kit shows up too and grabs a word with Swain to tell her about Aunt from Aunt and Dec getting moved after Carla visited. He suspects Costello of being involved. And at the station, we see that Kit is right. Costello's on the phone, talking about Tia Wardley and Kit's investigation. Costello promises everything is in hand, and he'll deal with Kit and Swain.
Dum dum dum.
So this, I think, is a shock to no one, right?
No.
That Costello is
Did you think
the bad guy.
Did you think the lighting was weird in that scene with Costello and Kit? Was it weird for you?
It was dark, wasn't it?
It was very, very dark. You could not see Costello's face. Like,
He was in the shadows.
yeah. But Kit wasn't. And it was kind of weird because it's like Costello is speaking, but you can't see his mouth. And I was wondering if that was just because I was watching YouTube on the big telly.
Maybe. And I noticed that it was a dark scene, but maybe there was sort of dark and light and good and evil.
Yeah.
Because
It didn't work
that's the
very
sort
well.
of thing that Coronation Street would be doing.
Right,
lately.
yes. And it would just be like Coronation Street to call Kit good.
Yeah. On Friday, Carla and Swain are in engagement heaven, which has given Betsy the pure boke. Plans are made for a celebratory slap-up binge at Mrs. Muggin's pie shop / bistro. At the cop shop, Kit and Swain are gently ribbing each other until Costello arrives, happy to see Swain back to 100% after her stint on the desk. When he goes, Kit is super suspicious about Costello's behaviour. I noticed that it's Kit that's really suspicious about Costello, and Swain really not so much.
Not as much, no.
Back in the street, on the way to the bistro, Swain becomes sure someone is watching her. She stops at home and catches Betsy about to snog Brody over the garden fence and puts an end to that shite pronto. At the bistro, while no one explains to Kit about what's going on between Betsy and Brody, that was so good, because he kept saying, what's going on? What's going on? And nobody answers him. A blonde woman shows up, and she's got a carrier bag full of exposition to dump all over the place, because this woman is Tia fucking Wardley,
Or is she?
who heard from Aunt out of Antondeck that Swain was looking for her. And Tia clears her throat and tells a story of how she used to hang around with Antondeck, but it was Becky Swain who helped her turn her life around and put her on the straight and narrow. If it wasn't for Becky Swain, she'd be dead. All right then, smell you later. And she goes to fuck off.
See ya.
But Kit asks if she knows Costello. Never heard of her, says Tia fucking Wardley.
Uh-huh.
And then she's off outside. Kit and Swain are thankful that they gave up the investigation.
Because they're the worst detectives ever.
Yep. Costello was right all along, and Betsy wasn't bent at all. She was a great person.
Becky.
Costello was right, and Becky wasn't bent at all. She was a great person after all. But surprise, surprise, Tia fucking Wardley isn't Tia fucking Wardley. She's one of Costello's goons, and she tells him in his car outside that they fell for it hook, line and sinker.
And they're just very lucky that neither Kit nor Swain come outside to
I
see
think
them.
they're parked at the precinct. Because, of course, Costello pays her and tells her to fuck off. She tries to get some information out of Costello, I think for our benefit.
Right, and also, so she has something more over Costello.
But Costello's not for telling. Meanwhile, Roy's still got bother with his back and is eventually convinced to go to A&E. And there he runs into Evelyn.
And Frida Kahlo!
She's a designated adult who wheels students to the hospital for a never-ending list of student accidents. She has a student with her who fell off a fridge while dressed as Frida Kahlo, and she's just sitting there with her massive eyebrow reading a magazine.
Right, yes, it's hilarious. Evelyn just hands her a magazine and says, there you go, and then, turns around and starts talking to Roy, and this woman is just like, okay, all right, I'm just going to read this magazine then. Sure.
She has one line. Hiya.
Yeah.
She says hiya to Roy.
Yes. Yes, and then she just sits quietly with her magazine like she's 2.
A good girl. Yes.
Did you find it disturbing that they would use Frida Kahlo
They always use Frida Kahlo.
for a character who's injured because she was dancing on top of a refrigerator, considering that Frida Kahlo was disabled in a bus accident and could not walk properly?
Do you think anybody knows that?
I think most people who know who Frida Kahlo is should know that.
I don't think anybody knows
It was a
that.
huge part of her art was expressing in art her disability using imagery of like the insides of people's bodies.
If they did know that, they didn't draw the tentative link that you've just described, I don't think. After being seen,
And they didn't see the Salma Hayek movie.
Roy bumps into a very chatty extra who surely has far too much to say about her quiet trainers for a nobody character.
Yeah, that was weird.
Either way, she's uncredited.
It's weird.
Of course it's weird,
It's very weird.
because who is she?
Because Frida Kahlo gets one word and this other woman gets 2 sentences. It's very weird.
So she's
That's the real
she's
Tia
nobody,
Wardley.
but she's somebody.
That's the real Tia Wardley, isn't it?
Well, I think half of the internet thinks that that's Tia Wardley, and the other half thinks that that's Becky Swain. Well, why would Becky Swain be
That woman
in...
was far too young to be Becky Swain.
I don't think so.
That looked like another college student who was dressed as one of the newsboys.
Oh, no, I don't
as
think she was
opposed
that young.
as opposed to the Frida Kahlo, because she's wearing like a newsboy hat and like a little brown jacket, and her quiet trainers.
She's almost dressed as somebody who's trying to not be seen.
She looks like Oliver Twist.
But I don't know, if it is Becky, why Becky would be in the area, because she's got to reckon that there's a chance that she could run into Swain at the
Right,
hospital.
exactly.
But then the same goes for Tia Wardley.
The fake Tia Wardley makes a point of pointing out that Swain and Kit don't know what the real Tia Wardley looks like. So Tia Wardley would be fine walking around Weatherfield.
Well, that pushes it back towards being Becky Swain then.
No, why would it?
Because why is she dressed like that?
Because
if
she's
nobody
going
knows
to
what
a
she looks
fancy
like.
dress party as one of the newsies,
But
the Artful Dodger.
Yeah, but she isn't though.
She looks
So
like she is.
let's all agree that that's hilarious. But she's not doing that. She's dressed to not be seen. And if Tia Wardley knows that nobody knows what Tia Wardley looks like, there would be no need to have a hat on and a big long coat and stuff.
That woman looked far too young to be Becky Swain.
She didn't, because we see what a young Becky Swain looked like in the photo that
Do we actually
that
see
Swain has.
Wait, Swain has a photo of Becky finally?
It's not exactly crystal clear, but it's possible.
It is weird though, because it's Roy and Evelyn who are there. Like Roy's gonna tell him, "Oh, I bumped into this woman with very quiet shoes who looked like the Artful Dodger."
It's definitely somebody. You don't have an extra.
No. Yeah, it's definitely somebody, but it's just a weird way to introduce whoever this somebody is eventually going to be.
It's like when Betsy was introduced. Remember, she was introduced as just being one of... Oh God, whose friends was she?
She was friends with Gav's sister,
Sabrina.
Sabrina. Not the teenage witch.
But then we looked it up and it was just Sabrina's friend was what she was credited
Right,
as.
yeah.
But this one wasn't even credited, despite having lines.
Yes. This is Frida Kahlo.
She doesn't
credited?
get credit either.
No. Even though she was very good reading her magazine.
She was, and she was allergic to the glue that was stuck in her monobrow.
I know, that was hilarious.
Superb.
She came in for a twisted ankle, but stayed overnight for the glue on her face with her unibrow.
That happens quite a bit.
Yes.
Evelyn wants Roy to take her out for a cuppa afterwards, but he's on his way to the bistro, so Evelyn invites herself along. Once there, everyone enjoys winding Roy up about him and Evelyn being a couple, and Ryan suggests maybe a double wedding's on the cards. We're not a couple, says Roy. And again, we discover...
It's cute because they look even more like a couple than they ever did before when they looked like a couple, and they should have been a couple because now they both have glasses.
Yeah, and they're sitting next to each other like a couple.
Right, yeah. And it's fun, the other little things the show decides that it's going to remember. Like the fact that Carla and Nick were married for a very brief amount of time.
Yes. That was Ryan that caught by surprise.
Yes.
Ryan,
like-
you should know this.
Yeah, that's your auntie. You should know these things.
Because if anyone was going to be surprised by that, I would have thought it would have been Swain, because
Right.
Carla could be forgiven for not remembering this. Or not thinking to mention it.
Right, yeah. Because it was, what, half an hour? And who are the other three? Because it's 5 times, right? Carla is essentially my father.
Carla was married to Paul Connor, to Tony Gordon, to Peter Barlow twice,
Yes.
and to Nick Tilsley.
I thought there was 5 of them. Or are we counting Peter twice?
They'd be counting Peter
Wait,
twice, I think.
she was married to somebody whose last name was Connor?
That's why she's Connor. Is it? I think.
Johnny's her dad. That's why she's Connor, isn't it?
No, she was Donovan. She was Carla Donovan.
Right, but Johnny Connor was her dad. She wasn't accidentally married to her brother at some point, was she? Or a cousin? Because that would be very soap opera. The show doesn't want us to think about too much.
They are related, but distantly.
Yeah, how distant, though? Are we talking Roosevelts or are we talking Habsburgs?
That means nothing to me. I'm just going to plough on.
Okay.
And again, we discover that Betsy doesn't really have eyes for Brody after all. It's more Dylan she fancies.
Yep.
Swain and Carla walk home, glad to be able to put the Tia Wardley stuff behind them and able to plan their wedding and the rest of their lives. But at their door again, Swain gets a feeling she's being watched.
Or someone's walking over her grave. Or both.
And that's how we end this week's episodes.
Yes.
Never for a moment did I think that was Tia Wardley.
No. Like, the second she walks in, you know that's not Tia Wardley.
Almost before she announces who she is.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that she goes up to the table and says, "Excuse me, are you Lisa Swain?"
From the back of your head, you seem to be Lisa Swain.
You see, you look like a lady cop who may also be a lesbian. Because my good friend in jail, who I also never talk to anymore, Aunt from Ant and Deck, said that you were looking for me.
Because that's a conversation that's happened.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She says that it's because of Aunt from Ant and Deck that she knows she was looking for her. But then later says that she doesn't associate with him anymore. So it's either one or the other, pal.
That's a good point. Yeah. What was it? That because she turned her life around.
Thanks to Becky.
Thanks to Becky Swain. Because she managed to turn her life around, Ant and Deck became
enemies.
Oh, it's just such bullshit.
Yeah, and yet apparently she and Kit both fall for it. I think Lisa falls for it because she doesn't want to think of Becky as a bad
Swain
cop.
wants this to be true.
Right.
So therefore it is.
So I can excuse that. But the fact that it seems like Kit believes it too
Kit, who hasn't believed anything that's come out of Costello's mouth,
bothers me so much. And the fact that she says, "Oh, I've never heard of her," when he says, "Do you know a cop named Costello?" He's like, "Well, she doesn't even know what gender Costello is, so I guess she must be telling the truth."
Now, is it terribly sexist and misogynist to say that if somebody said, "Have you heard of D.I. Costello?" that you'd assume it was a man? Because I think you would assume it was a man. Most cops are men. Most high-ranking cops are men. You'd think it was a man. So for her to say, "I've never heard of her," seemed like a deliberate
Yeah. Mr.
throwing them off the scent
Yeah.
attempt.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing was throwing off the scent. But the fact that Kit fell for it was disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Although, who knows? Maybe we'll find out that he hasn't really fallen for it. But it seems like he's fallen for it.
I was pleased to see Evelyn again. Very, very pleased to see Evelyn
Me
again.
too.
And from the second that she started to describe being the designated adult, I'm like, yep, this is brilliant. More of this, please.
From the second you see her wheeling Frida Kahlo down the hallway in a wheelchair, I'm sold. I'm sold 100%.
Yeah, a very welcome return. And I hope that she's in it for a little bit more before she buggers off again.
Well, she's got a
Because no doubt
honeymoon
she
to
will.
attend.
I felt a little sad for Carla because Carla was the one who was determined to propose. And I think Swain only decided to propose because Betsy spilled the beans. So this was something that she didn't really plan all that well at all, which probably is why she went for the police aspect of it. But Carla was really trying her best to do something super and romantic and
Right.
not something that's already happened,
Right.
and never got the chance.
No, I mean, she kind of does because Betsy throws her ring and they both propose to one another. But Carla's is kind of muted compared to the whole Swain with sirens blaring outside the factory. Yeah, that it kind of rubs me the wrong way. Although I think Swain already knew, because the way that Swain was like, "Oh, what do you have behind your back there?" sort of thing in the beginning. You kind of get the sense that she already knew.
Yeah.
But still, it just...
The start of Wednesday, though, I thought this is just falling right into your lap here, because Swain and Carla were kind of giving it heavy-duty bitching at each other.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, God, they're going to fall out again.
Right.
But it was just a ruse.
Yes. Swain was fake fighting with Carla, but Carla doesn't know that. So Carla goes and she takes it out on her staff.
Yep.
Which, that factory needs an HR department.
Yeah, the HR department is Carla, unfortunately.
Yeah.
When she's rounding off where everybody is, somebody's in the bog, somebody's off sick, Sean's away to work in the pub, and she's just so scunnered with a lot of them.
Right. Which she approved. She approved, Sean leaving early to work in the pub. It's hilarious.
Oh, this was a good storyline this week. I thought this was good fun.
Yeah, and it was good. And it's good to see everybody more or less in the factory again. It's good to see Izzy. It's good to see Michael. We got a lot of Michael this week.
Yeah, not doing anything hugely important, but just kind of lingering about.
Just being part of the Carla storyline and then also being part of the James and Dee Dee storyline.
Which is exactly what you should be.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, good stuff. All right, that was the week that was Coronation Street. Helen, what was your moment of the week? And it's okay if it's Frida Kahlo.
I know everybody wants it to be the engagement, the proposal. But for me, it's either Frida Kahlo or Debbie singing to Dev and getting free milk. Because that was just beautiful. It brought a tear to my eye as well as Dev's. And it's one of those moments where you see Debbie and you see Debbie for who she is. And it just reminds you of what we're going to lose as the dementia progresses, and
right.
then as she is out of the show. So, yeah, for me, I think it's Debbie singing to Dev.
Not Frida Kahlo?
No, as much as I love if I'm balancing the two together, I think Debbie edges out Frida Kahlo just slightly because, as happy as I am to see Evelyn back, wheeling Frida Kahlo through a hospital.
There we go. I mean, that you imagine the photograph that I'm going to use, don't you?
The sadness that I feel of being reminded of all we're going to lose with Debbie eventually, I think that kind of outweighs. And Dev's reaction is just really, it's so Dev, but it's also so sweet,
All right, fuck you then. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. That is our
moment of the week.
Moment of the week.
And your boring moment of the week.
Oh, what? I think it's also Debbie giving her brownie story.
Oh, I completely tuned out of that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry, Debbie.
That's our
Boring moment of the week.
She gives and she takes.
Do you know, I don't think we've had many the same character winning moment and boring moment of the week. I think it happened fairly recently, but that was maybe only the first time it's happened. I'll have to consult my spreadsheet because, of course, I keep track of all this shit.
Right, yes. Because you're that kind of person.
Absolutely.
Yay!
On to our me.
Meh.
This is
Yay. Meh.
thing section stuff. This is where we ask our Twitter followers to rank the show in terms of this is depending on what they thought about it. And they answered in their droves so far this week. This is 14.4%. Meh, 19.5%. Yay, 66.1%.
That's all the swarless, isn't it?
I imagine so. But a resounding vote for yay this week. I enjoyed it an awful lot as well. Caroline says, I haven't voted yay in a long while. Something about this week really caught me. Lower camera angle, new sets, old faces, something I can't put my finger on. Fab week. Lily Savage says, Team yay. Holly says, thought it was a good week. The Theo and Todd stuff was a bit sinister, but I enjoyed the proposal. Enjoyed Old Man David, Uncle Rai Rai. We forgot to mention Uncle Rai Rai.
Uncle Rai Rai, that was hilarious.
And I'm convinced that Christina is planning to scam George. Best week in a while, in my opinion. Amy says, would have been a nice, light-hearted, silly week without all the Todd and Theo shite. That whole storyline is an atmosphere hoover. Proposal was cringe, but I like the result.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Someone else thought it was cringe.
Jen Wagner says, my favourite part of the week was a proposal outside the factory. Not getting into the Theo and Todd storyline, even though it's an important story to tell. And Law says, an alright week, dampened by Theo and the bent copper rubbish, but good stuff from Debbie, Christina, Glenda, and nice to see an Evelyn cameo.
Yes.
Very positive remarks this week. Good to see.
Yes.
We don't let any of that influence our decision though, Helen. So
We don't?
Tell me, what is your score out of 10 this week? We were both 7.5 last week.
Yeah, I think it's still like a 7.
I think I'm 7.5 again. I enjoyed it an awful lot.
Yeah. It was mostly good.
It's good fun. Only really one depressing storyline, and you can't knock it.
No.
All right, let's wrap this one up then. This episode was brought to you with thanks to our friends of the podcast. Daisy, French Helen, Pickles, DT, Wendy, Noel, Canadian Helen, Christy, Shandy, English Victoria, Aurora Yvonne, Heather Westerfield, Russell Whiting, Jackie B, Brittany Porter, Laurie Anna, Tina, Stephen, Leah, Tara J, Fiona B, Canadian Jennifer, Josephine Tingy, Anne Greenwood, Trish R, Sarah Purbrick, Ali Q, Hunker Munker, Darren, the artist formerly known as Steal My Fridge, Pamela, Marge JT, Tom Ambrose, Christopher Anstey, Terry in LA, Joe T, Corrie Dales, Matthew McKenney, Aussie Ali, and Welsh Emma. Thank you ever so much, everybody. We very much appreciate your support.
Yes, thank you so much.
If you've ever spoken at length at a stranger about your trainers in an attempt to hide the fact that you're not Becky Swain, write in to tell us about it. We're the Talk of the Street at gmail.com, and we're at Corrie Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads and Blue Sky, or you can reach us the old-fashioned way, the Talk of the Street, P.O. Box 12, Eaton Rapids, Michigan, 48827. Our spoiler show will be available shortly after this one, and in September's classics we're talking about episode 368, the one with Sir Patrick Stewart. Get access to this exclusive content by becoming a friend of the podcast at ko-fi.com, that's ko-fi.com/the Talk of the Street, or patreon.com/the Talk of the Street. Check out voggle.co.uk for links to our merch store, YouTube channel and blog, and if you're so inclined, please leave a rating and a review on the iTunes or your podcast provider of choice, and be sure to check out our pop culture sister podcast, The List of Lists.
Austin Butler. Hot.
Thanks for making it to the end of another episode, and we will be back next week with more
Talk of the Street.
The Talk of the Street.
Bye.
Cheerio.